And now I'm really going to show you how powerful low-tech machines can be. We have a $3 cube, we have a super spinner, and we're going to go over to this wall. Where here you can see we have the cap to a Sharpie magic marker with a large bead of wax, big glob of the waxless wax. And we're using the clip here, the clip that goes over your shirt right here, little plastic clip, as a pulley. The string goes over that clip so that if we pull on the string, the load goes up. And we're going to stick this right here to the wall so that it's sticking up, just like that. And now we're going to spool off enough thread off of this thing to go to the other side of the wall. Right over here where we have a bead of wax, so we can break the spinner off and we just have it stuck here to the wall where no one's going to see it. So here we have a gravity reel. We have a bead of wax attached to the wall with a single strand of thread that goes all the way across the room to this wall, down that wall, at that clip with the Sharpie magic marker making a pulley down to the floor. At the floor, about an inch off of the floor, we have the cube. We have the $3 bills folded together. That's going to be the weight that's going to keep it pulled down. So we can come out on stage, you feel the thread. Just swing your hand this way. As you walk this way, you'll feel it. And when you feel it, you hook over it. And we're going to use the Michelangelo fold again and get it to float on that single strand and gesture that it's floating. And now we can push it this way. And you can actually step forward towards the audience because it's not attached to you. It just floats straight across the room all by itself. And so it's a bounceless hookup. It's not going to bounce because there's nothing for it to bounce off of. And from here, I'm going to, with this hand, it goes behind the thumb here, and I'm going to hook the pinky up and hook the thread so that I can push forward, and as I do, I'll pull that cube up. The cube rises up as I go forward, and the bill floats down because there's more slack on this side. And we have to go all the way down to the floor. And when I want to rise up, all I do is release the tension with the pinky and the thumb, and the bill will float up, and I'll be able to catch it. The second I catch it, I'm not just going to stop. I'm going to follow through that motion up to over my head even. I'm going to like it floated all the way up that high. So again, you go through it all. We're here. We hook it on. Gesture that it's floating. We can push it forward. Have it fall down. The cube behind me is rising up as the bill falls down. We let go of the tension, and it'll float all the way up. And this is a great stage setup if you're going to do an illusion on stage. And the neat thing is you could have another one set up right here, and you could immediately go into a Fearson hookup or something else. One final piece of advice on this is, again, we have the thread right here. The bead is right here on the wall. I'm going to move it up, all the way up to the top, like so. So I move it all the way up. And now this side of the room is thread free. I now have use of my stage. I could walk on and off or whatever you want to do. And whenever you're ready to do that particular set, you just move it down. It's not that suspicious of a move. Who's going to know? Who's going to care? It's a bead of wax. They can't even see it. It's a motto with thread work. Just do it. So to recap this, I have arranged everything so that you can see everything in frame at once. We have the super spinner with a single strand coming out of it. There is a dollar bill on that single strand. It's floating on there. It goes all the way over to the wall. I'm going to put this Sharpie, the super spinner, in the tip jar, and it goes right over to the cap. This is just a standard cap off of a Sharpie magic marker. It's got the little clip pointing outwards, the pocket clip, and over that clip is that single strand. By pulling the strand, you can see that it's attached to this cube. This is 3 $1 bills folded together, and it has a bead of wax under one of the flaps, and it hangs from that bead of wax. There's only one strand on this. You're not tossing it, so you don't need all that extra strength. We only need one single strand. Goes up, over, into the tip jar. And in this position, you can see everything in frame now. If I lock the thread with my fingers and push at it, you can see how the cube goes up while the bill goes down. We can bring it all the way up to the top. And when we release that pressure from the fingers, the bill will rise up as the weight goes down. And the reason I'm using the cube is because this is a good size for it, and it's paper, so it's quiet. It doesn't make noise. I originally was using pennies, and they would scrape the wall and you would hear them. They would talk. So the dollar bills is an excellent way to do this. This is by far my favorite weight that I found to use for that particular purpose. And you have to remember that you have the misdirection of the object floating. This is where everybody's attention should be directed, and you can put this out of the way. You want this in the background. Behind the record player is a much better spot than over here. You don't have to use blue Sharpie cap. You can go to Office Depot, Staples, you can get a rack where they got 30 different colors of Sharpies, so I could get a darker one that would match this picture frame and put it there if I wanted, or I could get a white one to match the trim and stick it up against the trim, something that would blend in with the wall better. You could just throw it right over the couch so it goes down behind the couch, anything to get it out of the way, and you have your misdirection of the object floating.